Okay, Bob, I got a real quick video I wanted to shoot here. Um, you can see all the wire harness going on there. Look at that mess. These covers were all really brittle and just falling apart. If you look under the car, it's just everywhere, you know. So I went to the store, bought some new stuff, 3/4, 1/2 inch. I had some smaller stuff. And I put new stuff in. You can see where I attached to the old. That's all new. That's new. This is new. This is new. This is new. This is all new. Taped up some bad spots. Got a couple more pieces of tape hanging here I'm going to fix up. This is new. You can see down in here. That's old. This is new. That's old. So, you know, even back in there, all those little pieces. That one there, that one there, that one there. You know, that's all new. That stuff was so brittle, it was just falling apart everywhere. I had to take my air compressor and blow out the top of the engine. It was so much stuff laying around. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I got a timing all in, motor mounts back on. It's sitting on the chassis now, not on blocks. Heater core or heater hoses are back on. I've had a lot of dust blowing around in here. I've been blowing out dust in there. That's why I want to give it an oil change once I've got it together. Immediately, you know, not too long. Filter it through and change the oil. And it's so dirty in there. I think there's a big cover that goes over there. I think once I get it back down on the ground, I may hit that with some engine cleaner and spray that out real good. I got my AC still loose. I got an alternator that goes on there. Those are for the spark plugs. This is loose. I got a bracket over here that goes on right there. So it's just a matter of putting it all together, really. Hopefully nothing's leaking. This is the thermostat. There's a pipe right there, that shiny piece. Goes around the back of the motor. You probably can't see it. Maybe a little bit there. 3 bolts. Took me 2-3 hours to get 3 bolts in. Hard to reach. So we're getting close. We'll see what happens in a week or so. If it'll start, maybe this weekend, who knows. Dropping the oil pan won't be a big deal, but that'll have to be done too. So nothing's going to start up until that happens. And then, of course, you can see I got my oil sign up there. I don't even know where the keys of the car are anymore. So that's it. After all that, I'll have to secure all that stuff with some zip ties and just, there was a lot of these things on there. I don't know where they all went. They were just kind of hanging around, and I'll see if I can use some of them, but a zip tie will be just as good. All right, that's it. Okay, Bob, here's the oil pan I got down. Wasn't too bad. About 19 bolts. I could get to all of them with no problem. There's all the bolts. So I've already taken some bolts off of this cover here, and actually I've had this apart already, so I was going to show you what the process was. There's had 5 bolts in here. It pulls this shield off, okay? And Steve Smart had his oil pan off on his fancy car one time and put a shield in there like that kept oil from sloshing all the way to one side when he was on the racetrack with his car at a 45 or a 30 degree. So I don't know if that's part of what this is or not. It might be. I don't know. Interesting to think about. So then this is the pickup tube right there. Okay. I've already disconnected it. It took me a little bit of effort. And pulled it up. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Got some debris in there. Can't really see it very well, but it's there. That's plastic part to the original timing guides. And look at this piece here. This was in there. Part of the plastic guide. That's as big as my thumb. You know. Somehow wedged that up inside there. Look at that. If that got up in there, you know, that would block a lot of fuel getting up there. So I'm glad I did this. Let's see what we got here. There, look at that. And another piece there. So this is the pickup tube. Knock that piece out of there. Oh boy, there's all kinds of stuff coming out of there. Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm glad I did this. Who knows? I mean, what else is down in the bottom of this thing? Yeah, some little pieces. No, I'm really glad I did this because that could have been a major problem. So I'll just have to flush this out real good and make sure it's flushed out. I got a camera I can sit down in there and see if I'm missing anything. I'll flush all that out to a drain pan and put it all back together. I had to jack the engine up about, I only needed a 1/4 inch. It went up off the frame enough to get this out. I had a couple bolts hanging up right here from the bottom of the crankshaft. Cleared it and it came right out. So I'm really happy I did this. I'm really happy I did this. Cool beans. So that's what you see. Want to come over and help me put it all back together? Can't wait to show Amy. While I got you here, I may as well just, oops, sorry about that, show you the car. Oh my gosh, look at that, the motor's back together. All these got replaced. Those are real shiny looking ones. They were so brittle, they were crumbling. I touch them and they'd fall apart. I had debris all over the floor, all over the engine. So before I put all the engine top back together and anything, I didn't rewire it. I just covered it and put tape around things and stuff like that. You can see right here, I got a little spot here. It needs to be a little tape on it. And when I put it all back together, Bob, everything plugged right where it was supposed to plug in. It's pretty fascinating. I had, these are solenoid sensors. Timing solenoid sensors. I get that off there, yeah. Yeah. So I had to put them in. There's 2 holes there, you can see. I had to put the solenoid sensors in. I put them in before I put the cover on it. One's an intake and one's an exhaust. And you can see right there, it says intake and exhaust. And I'm like, oh great, which one's which? I've had the originals on there still, and I'm like, I just need to make sure which is which. I didn't have this on to realize it was labeled. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, how am I going to really know for sure? I have to go back and watch a couple videos to figure out which one's intake exhaust. And then it dawned on me, it's color coded. The phasers that are inside right here, this is a black phaser. It's got a black solenoid, gray phaser, gray solenoid. And when I went to plug it in, gray connection. No gray connection. I assume that's the one there. And it just all kind of makes sense how it all falls together. So yeah, everything just plugged right in. It's amazing how it all went back together with no problems. The real issue is going to be, is it going to start? Is it going to blow up? I hope not. But that's where I'm at. Got a cover that goes on there. And then I have to put in my alternator. Right, you can see the stud right there, alternator. And I got to attach this. It's not quite, that's the AC compressor. and it's back together. This will be the next step, putting that on there. I've got to buy gasket material. There's no gasket for this. It surprises me they don't have a gasket that fits that. I got to put, the squirt stuff on it. So that's where we're at. It's Friday afternoon, about 5 o'clock, 5:11. Maybe by Sunday, be running it. Who knows? I'm not going to race to get it there, but I got a little work to do ahead of me. So that's that. Okay, Bob, we're back after a trip to the parts store for some more brake cleaner and then a stop for dinner. I took the time this evening and cleaned it all up and show you what I got here. Here's all the debris I came up with. If it shows up, look at that. Turn my light on. I don't know if you can really see it or not, but that's two pieces off that part that was broke. It's chain guide. You can see how big those pieces were. Here's the pickup tube. It's all cleaned up. I ran water through it after I cleaned it out good with some cleaner. Get rid of all the oil and gunk. There was a lot of stuff, little pieces laying in there. So you take like this piece here. Look at that. Plug it up easy. So that's where we're at. I'm going to put it together. I thought you'd just kind of like to watch what I'm doing. Won't take long if I can remember how to do it. So this went in first. Probably have to lube that a little bit with some oil. Let me get some oil for that. The WD-40 would probably work. I got some heater hoses. I finally found the right heater hoses. They actually had them right here in town. It took me a long time to figure out what I needed and stuff online. And it just didn't really reflect very well what it was, what the part was. So I put some, when I put them on, boy, they don't want to go in there very well. When I put them on, they wouldn't go on very well. I didn't think they would because of the rubber against the metal and stuff. Clean that up a little bit. So I put some lithium grease inside them and on the pipes, and man, they slid right on. It was awesome. There, it looks like it went in that time. There we go. Beautiful. Now inside here, I don't know if you can see it, there's these little dots. It's like, it's metal. It's not a shaving. It's like a high point on the metal from the casting, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this goes on there. This goes there. So there is no gasket for this. I have to use that. And whoop, there you go. It's Permatex. It's designed for oil and stuff, so it won't leak. Crawl underneath the car still and clean the bottom of the engine off. Get all the oil and all that good stuff off there. Get ready to prep it for putting that sealant on there, and I'm guessing I'll probably put it on the bottom of the engine. I'll have to read up about it. Put it on the bottom of the engine. The mating surface there that goes to. I don't know if I put it on one side or if I put it on both the engine and the oil pan, but it'll get done. But before I can do that, I got to clean that up. It's a mess underneath there. So, look at that. Just like it was built like that. Cleaned it all off. There's a piece of, there was a mat I saw just fly in there. I don't know what I was going to say, but I cleaned it all up good. And looks pretty nice, I think. I feel very relieved to have found stuff in there because I didn't want to go through all this work to find out there was nothing in there. I knew there was, though. I don't know why that one's going in so tight. Wasn't bad though to get it off at all. It was pretty easy. I don't know if there's something inside that hole that's making it difficult to go in, or just what it is. Spray cleaner through everything. Yeah, WD-40 on that, huh? That helps. I didn't cross-cut it though. And it's the bolt because now it's tight in this one. That's interesting. That's helping a little fluid there. That'll evaporate. That's a lot better. And that baby will be ready to go on. Hope you can see all that. Out of the look of the camera lens. Pull the drain plug out of the pan, clean that up, clean the hole out for that. It's like brand new, but it's not like brand new. But there was a lot of gook in the bottom of it. And the sediment, the pan goes all the way down to here. You know, and you got the plug there, it doesn't get it all out, it never drains all the way out. When I used to do my own oil changes on my old Bronco, I'd always put a gunk engine cleaner through it first, and then drain it. When I rebuilt my engine on my Mercury Cougar during my divorce, my brother Andy came over and we started taking it apart after we got the engine out. And pulled, it was a 6-cylinder, so it had 2 heads on it, 2 sets of valves, left and right. And Andy pulled the heads off, the valve cover off actually, and you can clearly see the one side of the engine wasn't even getting oil. It was all gobbled it up with sediment and sludge. It was time. There we go, baby. It's ready to go back in. Clean it up good. I'll blast it with air one more time. So it looks good to me. What do you think? Nice and pretty, huh? Nice and pretty. Alright, I guess that's about it. Thought you'd like to see. Okay, Bob, I thought I'd crawl underneath the car. Just show you the rest of the project. There's the bottom of the engine. You can see where the pan goes. And you might be saying, well, I don't see any sealant on there. Well, it's right there. You can see the little bit I chipped off. because I was wondering myself. That's all the engine block. That's the sealant right there, the dark brown looking thing. So I'll have to clean all that off. Yeah, there's a big gobbledygook piece of it there. I was kind of surprised that Chevy did not have a gasket for this, of all the things, you know. So, oh well. I have to clean it up. And way to go. So there's the ring gear. That looks like it's in good shape. Pistons, crankshaft, all that good stuff. If you look in here, there's the timing chain. And that's the hole the timing chain pieces fell through and dropped down into the oil pan. I guess they got to go somewhere, you know. I guess it's the whole idea to catch all down at the bottom of the pan. But yeah, it's a problem. It can plug up that oil pump, oil tube, and then you got major problems. You can't get oil in the engine, and the engine burns up. So I had to jack the engine up a little bit right there to get around these 4 bolts. And it didn't take much. I needed 1/4 of an inch, and it lifted it about an inch. So that's about it. I'll put this video all together and send it to you in one big one.